Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, the podcast. I'm joined by Seth.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for finding us on the internet.
Now, these shows originally aired on Brookings Radio, but now they're all here for your enjoyment. I hope you like it.
There you go. Sit back, enjoy the show, relax. Let us know if you want to see anything on future shows. As we said, this comes out live in the Brookings area, but enjoy this archive episode.
Beer Untapped with Perry Miller.
Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Craft beer drinkers today owe a debt of gratitude to one country more than any other. The styles that continue to dominate the craft beer scene all began in England.
Pale ales, your India pale ales, your porters, your stouts. Beer's been around for a long, long time, since the Egyptians and before that even. But, you know, as far as the styles that are truly influencing what we're doing here today.
If you drew a big box around the beer styles and split it in half, on one half you would have the ales, and another half you would have the lagers. And there's always some overlap in every style and room for discussion about where things came from. But you would more than often be correct in saying an ale is a British origin and a lager is a German origin.
Brennan Sully Sullivan from Pints and Quarts and Seth Cook from Wooden Legs there. Of course, more and more craft brewers are turning to German styles. Belgian styles are popular, but the influence of the Brits on today's craft beer scene is hard to overstate. Of course, Americans add their own spin, and American pale ales and IPAs tend to be, shall we say, more extreme than the original British styles.
British hops are usually more earthy, not nearly as bright and alive and in your face. Some spice. Some people have even they use the word earthy, and I think that's like dirt. I don't know if that's. I don't know if I like the earthy, but it's definitely more subdued. You have spice. You have some of the vegetable flavors. You know, some that are not as bright and loud as American hops. American hops, you start getting into tropical fruits and fresh-cut grass.
American brewers have also taken other British styles, stouts, porters, barley wines, for example, and pushed them to extremes as well.
We always have to do something more or extra. Theirs have less malt, ours have more malt, it seems like. Theirs have less hops, ours have more hops.
Still, there's no denying the influence and importance of those original British styles. Seth adds that British beers and pubs were a huge influence on Wooden Legs.
I fell in love with specialty and craft beer when I went to England. My business partner was going to school over in Cambridge there, and a lot of the ideas from the pub started over cask-pulled pints in a pub in Cambridge that was one of the same pubs reportedly that Tolkien had met C.S. Lewis to discuss their individual projects. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But the beer was good, I do know that.
More on British beers when Beer Untapped continues.
Oh, Barman, please serve me a British pint of beer. I've sucked my way right round the world and nothing can compare.
Welcome back to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. We continue our discussion of British beers. It's a goal of many craft beer fans to be able to travel to England, hit a few pubs, and sample what's called real ale or cask ale.
When we say cask condition, hand-pulled ales, the real ale, and most people have probably seen at least a couple British shows or pub dramas. They have, what appears to be and is fully a hand pump on top of the bar that they will take and draw the liquid out of. So that's really different than how we dispense beer in America here.
While not as common as it once was, you can still find true British real ale. The beer will actually be drawn from a cask, often down in the cellar. Now, this ale is not carbonated like most American beers.
They'll take a beer once it's finished. They'll put it into this cask. They'll never filter it, or filter it very lightly so that there is a yeast that remains in the beer. They'll add a little bit of secondary sugar, and this yeast eats the secondary sugar, produces CO2 again, but as that cask is sealed tightly, there's nowhere for that CO2 to escape to, and that's how you create the cask condition. That's how you create the bubbles in the beer.
From all accounts, cask ale in Britain can be a sublime drinking experience.
Truly is live beer. The beer is alive. It is by design, still fermenting at some point. Its cellar temperature is dramatically warmer than our refrigerated temperatures, and it can continue to change. And here at the pub, we We do not filter our beer as well, so that it has some of the attributes where you continue to develop flavors as it ages, but maybe not as dramatic as some of the cellar beers, some of the cask conditioned beers.
I'm not going home yet. In fact, I might stay here for years.
Drew Eklund from the Brookings Liquor Store has a couple of new beers, and, yup, both are derived from British styles, including a new IPA from Utah brewer Squatters.
It's called Takeout Rye IPA. It's also $10 for a six-pack. I've had a few rye IPAs where, I like the style, but I feel like the hops kind of mask or overtake the rye. It's kind of like, what's the point of even putting rye in it?
I like when you can taste the rye.
Yeah, this one you can really taste it. The tropical hops kind of take a back seat to the fruity malts, and that lets the rye kind of kick at the end. The last one is from New Belgium. It's called the Portage Porter. We have it in 6 and 12 packs at $8.49 and $13.99 respectively. It's got flavors of coffee, chocolate, and smoke with a slightly bitter, dry finish, medium carbonation. It's very true to the style porter.
Sully has the Mike Tap Handle Beer of the Week for us at Pints and Quarts, and it's a fine example of Americans taking a British style and amping it up.
The Rogue Russian Imperial Stout, 10% alcohol, big, thick, malty, just a monster of a stout.
That's from their limited series, isn't it? I don't think
that's from their XS series.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic beer. I mean, it drinks. It doesn't drink like a 10% alcohol beer. It's just really, really smooth and so much malt. Nice and balanced with the hops, too. It's one of my all-time favorite stouts.
Finally, a tease, the Super Bowl beer and chili, all coming together in an awesome event and fundraiser brought to you by Wooden Legs and Beer Untapped. Just plan to be at Wooden Legs on Super Bowl Sunday, February 1st. We'll tell you more soon. Next week, distribution, getting that beer from the brewer to the store and the bar. Until then, drink local and drink responsibly.
Thank you for listening to this archived edition of Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Feel free to listen to other episodes, and if there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future show, please let us know. Thanks again.